Hi, it's Jim from maverickstar Observatory. Very warm welcome to you guys. Good afternoon. I'm here again. I'm trying to help people. I'm trying to, shed some light on some of these things that we're facing. And, I'm encouraging you as best I can to do something about it, because the clock is ticking and the time is inevitably going to run out, I promise you. If you can't see it for yourself, then just hang around for a few moments in this video and we'll talk about a few things that should really hit home. And I just want to, before we begin, just say big thanks to those few people. It's through these few people that chip in a few bucks, and it's not required a lot of money, but if just more of us done a little bit, then we wouldn't have a problem here raising funds just to do some of the simplest things. And what is it all about? Well, I'm not the political expert, I'm not the economic expert, but I have got a bit of grey matter, and I do like sharing with like-minded people some of the thoughts I have on these topics. And of course, we do have all that equipment at our observatory, ranging from the Trimag system, which keeps an eye on the magnetic North Pole progression over the Northern Hemisphere. We're monitoring at different locations around the world, the magnetic intensity in these regions. We are, looking at the causes and effects of extra cosmic radiation that is inbound in our upper atmosphere as a result of two things that we have coinciding with each other, like the heliosphere shrinking, allowing more cosmic rays into our solar system firstly, and then our primary shield being weakened, the magnetosphere, as a result of the Earth going through a very rare anomaly known as the pole shift. Our planet is experiencing for the first time, possibly in 780,000 years, a completed magnetic reversal. And if it's not a completed reversal and we're only looking at excursions, then it's the first time in 12,000 years. Both, I'm sure you'll agree, are big numbers, and these times shouldn't be taken for granted. So, I'll mention a link at the end of the video if a few more people want to, chip in. And remember, it's not just helping you guys get the data that we provide. It could be CO2, atmospheric oxygen, the muons, which is a result of the cosmic rays in the upper atmosphere inbound. If it's not just that, it's some of the other advice that we give you. And it's on that topic that I want to discuss with you guys, because I'm sure that even now on alternative sources of news, like on YouTube, you might follow Gerald Celente, the Canadian Prepper, David Devine. I'm sure that you will get a little bit of information. There are a lot of others I could mention, but I'm sure you get a bit of information from all of them, and I hope that sometimes you do from me as well, and it all helps to put together, or join up all those dots for you so you get the image of what's really going on. But it's on the topic of those things that I want to talk about today, because not only are we facing unbelievable, unprecedented corruption with regards to the truth on climate and climate change on our planet, we've got politicians that are making the most ludicrous decisions, lying to not only other politicians but lying to ourselves, the taxpayers that put the money in their very pockets. And this isn't just now isolated to one country. Canada, the United States, the UK, the whole of Europe, it goes on, Australia, New Zealand. This is happening everywhere, guys. Every single where on our planet there is, because of the corruption, trouble. I applaud you to go and have a look at Revelations, where it talks about those that have wisdom work out the number of the beast. It's telling you what is going to be the cause of bringing hell upon this earth. I'm not no Bible basher. I'm just saying that whoever wrote that knew what the cause of, calamity was, and they put it in the book for you. All you had to do was just research where it was mentioned before, because I'm sure it's in Kings. I can't remember the exact. Oh, you can do a quick search and you'll find where 606 talents of gold come to King Solomon. What was gold back in the day? It was currency. It was their currency. And what they was trying to say in Revelations was reflect on this, because it destroyed the empires of the past, and it will come again to destroy the empires of the future. And this is where we are right now. People, way too many people are just taking absolute pee right now. They do not care that not only have they put their conscience locked away in the cupboard, that they don't even consider no more that they have a conscience. And I've had it said to me before, Gene, if you want to make yourself rich, you've got to get rid of that conscience. I can't do that. I have got a conscience. And, I have, through some unusual circumstances, came all the way around abouts to finding out the truth myself. And I shared that with you guys. So you only have to have a look at that video I done on the universal equation. I think it explains everything. How can you deny that this universe is conscious when it is using a mathematical system or a combination of just two numbers, nines and zeros, like a binary code, to create everything? And if it wasn't enough that when you are fortunate to witness an eclipse of the sun, and don't work out that could only be at an advantage point standing on Earth, that could be visibly possible, considering that the moon is 400 times smaller, or that you could fit 400 moons across the equator of the sun. So it is only from the perspective of Earth that it fits perfectly over the sun. Are you telling me that there isn't a design behind this? That the Earth is situated where it is, that if it was much closer, all the water on our planet, which provides life for every biological living thing on this planet, if it was too close, there'd be no water. If it was too far away, our atmosphere would just be full of gas. That water would be gas. So, but it's not that I want to talk to you about. I'm not here to convince you of, who you call God. What I want to talk to you about is, I think just some common understanding of what is going on right now. I'm going to talk about a couple of things that are not easy to talk about. Could you imagine having an army like Russia literally smash everything in your country to smithereens? That's what they've done in Ukraine. All those beautiful historical buildings, the villages, the towns, the cities. This one person, through his power, has managed to turn it into rubble and dust. And that isn't all he's done. You know what he's done? He has killed hundreds of thousands now of men and women. That has had devastating impacts on a lot more people than just the ones that lost, sadly, their lives on both sides. For what? Really, what is it all for? The gaining of a bit more territory? This earth will be here a lot longer than the human beings. There is no real claim to any territory on the land. It's only borrowed whilst you own the piece of paper that somebody allows you to have in your name at that point in time. But this, through the loss of lives of men, fathers, sons, even daughters, moms. Look at the devastation that has had on the impact of their surrounding families. And this war has gone on for a year now. It's not just the war I want to talk to you about. What I'm trying to say to you is nothing good is going to come out of this, because everything is caused by the same thing around our world. It's all caused by the same thing, and that's corruption. It's somebody's greed that is causing the suffering of a lot of people. Some statistics: 36% of Americans can't afford to pay the credit card bills. 51% of the UK citizens are on benefits. And we just heard the announcement this week or last week of, one of the large employees of people, British Telecom, announcing the fact that they're going to cut 50,000 jobs. This is something that you're going to hear a lot more of. And I want you to just do, for your own sakes, just so you can see that, I haven't got a crystal ball here. But if you just write these 3 things down and ponder over them for a little bit, you'll come to the same conclusions I have. The first one is technological advancement. The second is the need to exchange your labour or human labour in order to access money. And then the third one is population expansion. I'm going to talk just a little bit about each one of these. I want you to give it a little bit of thought yourselves. So, technological advancement, that's why they're laying off 50,000 people, and it just won't end there. Technology can replace everybody's job. I told you in a couple of videos ago that you can be replaced very easy. People like me, and we are probably public enemy, because we're the ones that write programs when we're paid to, or pressurized by our boss to write these programs, and we put the actuation together, the electronics that run, the motors that run the hydraulics, everything, that makes automation possible. Now, if you just go on to the second one that I asked you to write down, the need to exchange your labour for money. If you haven't got a job, how are you going to access money to participate in the monetary system? We have reached a point of technology where all the jobs now are at some form or other threat of being replaced by technology, unfortunately. And then if we just briefly move on to the third one that I asked you to write down, which was population expansion. Well, it's like every other commodity. When there is too much, labour in the workforce, then through competition, employment will pay, that person less, because there is always going to be someone that will work for the less, so that they can just about meet ends meet. And what I'm saying to you here is the crystal ball. Our politicians are doing nothing about this. And on top of everything else, inflation, interest rates, making it more needy to go and get probably a second job, maybe a third job. People are going to be at some point not physically able to do any more, because they won't have enough hours in the month to earn enough money to pay just the simplest forms and means of living for themselves, putting a bit of food on the table, paying the bills, etc., etc. And on top of that, we've got these green climate freaks that have completely bamboozled anyone that had any, reasonable understanding of what regulates the climate on this planet. And you know what? It could be so easy. Kids could answer this question. We've talked about it enough. So, that's where we are. And I see that the best opportunity in this collapsing world that we are faced with for numerous reasons is not to be in the city, because the city is heavily dependent on so much that eventually and inevitably it's going to break. And I would like you and your families not to be in there when it does. It can break for numerous reasons at the moment. And look what these politicians are doing at the moment in Ukraine. We sent the UK Storm Shadow cruise missiles in the last couple of weeks, and they've started using these long-range missiles. Russia has already taken serious offence about the United States' effort to supply arms and the UK's. They've mentioned it more than once, guys. We are a nuclear race, and that if we are pushed to that point, we will use them. So if things aren't resolved, then we could well see what has been extremely concerned about for many, many years, not just by scientists that have warned of this, the threat of nuclear war, but everybody else with a bit of common sense. We have now people saying that they'll sink England, they'll detonate one of their Satan nuclear bombs off the coast of England, and the tidal wave will just wash over it. I don't think it would myself be the end of England if that was to happen. I mean, have you seen the size of this nuclear bomb? It wouldn't fit in the average person's home, so they've got to get it somewhere close in order to deliver that sort of system. I'm pretty sure that that system would be taken care of. But just think about all those submarines around the world all carrying nuclear arms. It doesn't take the entire nuclear arsenal to destroy this planet. And yet this is something that they're talking about. I can't believe that they are talking about it. They want to deal with China because if China wants to invade Taiwan, Russia wants to invade the Ukraine, Europe and all the other countries don't like the idea of that. And at the end of the day, it is people like me and you that are spilling our blood for these politicians somewhere. It is our kids spilling the blood. It is our fathers, our grandparents, that are minding their own business, retired, trying to just enjoy some of the basics that they are able to enjoy, and then, oh my God, an almighty bang goes off outside their house, blows the front of their house off and kills, the poor guy's wife while she's cooking his dinner. That's the reality. It is so heartbreaking to see the world falling apart like it is and no one doing anything about it. It really is a shame to see this, to witness it with my own eyes. I'm sure you feel the same, but it is so sad to see what human beings are doing right now and how we're behaving. Because this world could be a beautiful place. It could be the heaven on earth. But it's the sad case that it's becoming, if it isn't already for some people, hellish and a hell on earth. Being in the city is not the best place right now. And I think anyone that left the city and went to enjoy a more rural life, I'm sure that they would enjoy that a lot more, and they would be out of harm's way for a lot of reasons. What it means though for a lot of us, if we decide to take that decision and act, and we really should do, and I know it's difficult for a lot of others, but you know what, you can find a way. You really can. Remember me talking about the Special Air Force logo, he who dares wins. It's simply because if you feel you've failed or you can't to start with, you're not going to go any further than even thinking about it. You've already given up. So if you feel that you can, you are the guy that is more likely to succeed. You're the person that has already taken it upon yourself and believe in yourself enough to make you make those right decisions that help you get out into those places or overcome whatever it is that's stopping you. They no longer are the best places to be. And when one of these anomalies or an act of human stupidity takes place, you'll wish you weren't there. You'll wish you'd have paid attention. And I think on that note, guys, we'll mention the link down there. Hopefully you got something out of this. If you want to help others, there's a link down there. And we'll be back tomorrow. We'll do an Earth Alpha at a glance. We'll have a look at some of these anomalies using our equipment. But till then, you take care of yourselves. Look after the best you can your loved ones. And I'll say what I usually do. Bye for now.